But mostly it was scary and horrible, and she wished that she wasn't a part of it, except it had to be done. She knew it had to be done because Solange said so, and Solange never lied. Ever. And it wasn't going to be painful. Vaughn said they wouldn't feel a thing, just a bee sting from the needle, and that would be that. Unless, of course, something went wrong. Like if they had a Doberman or something. But no, they didn't have a dog, because if they did, Lenny would have mentioned it. Lenny was their son, and if there was a Doberman walking around, he'd have told them about it. Like Marty did, with the gun. Not that Marty was related to them, but he was close. He'd said, "I don't think the old fuck knows how to use it, but he's got a .38 special that he keeps in the vestibule, in a little table just under the telephone. I used to kid him about being strapped, and he'd say, 'What are you talking about? What strap? I don't see any strap.' And the thing is, he wasn't kidding. I mean, like, this guy is living in another century." Even so, what if the needle broke off, or the woman started screaming? Everything would go real bad, fast. Like with Riff, when she was a kid and the car hit him, and her father tried to put him down with a .22, but he was so nervous he couldn't find the heart, so he just kept shooting. If that happened, or something like that, there'd be blood all over the place, and all over them. And the thing is, legally, what they were doing was murder, which, for someone who'd been brought up Catholic, even if she didn't practice anymore, was about as bad as it gets. Because killing was wrong. She knew that. No ifs, ands, or buts. Killing someone was dead wrong. Unless you were a soldier. And that's exactly what they were. She and Tommy and Vaughn and the French guy in the back of the truck, they were soldiers. Knights, even. Just like in the Crusades. Susanna was thinking about the secret war. Solange's war, her war, when the turn signal began to click and the truck turned down a 2-lane country road, scattering a clutch of deer that were feeding on the verge. A battered U-Haul with Arizona tags, the truck trembled and shook as it rattled over the washboarded lane, slowing down at every letterbox, then speeding up, then slowing down again as the driver hunted for the right address. Finally, the truck came to a stop beside a rusting mailbox. Bergman. For a long moment, Tommy stared at the silvery, stick-on letters, muttering to himself. Then he killed the headlights, backed up, shifted into drive, and, holding his breath, entered the long driveway. Susanna squirmed in her seat and took a deep breath. Exhaling, she made a sort of stuttering sound, then wet her lips with her tongue. The truck crunched slowly over the gravel toward the front porch of a white farmhouse. There, beneath a bower of old walnut trees, Tommy killed the engine, the passenger door opened, and Susanna climbed out. She was, as anyone could see, pretty, young and pregnant, with huge brown eyes and ash-blonde hair. She wore a yellow sundress under a tattered gray cardigan that was much too big, and which might well have been her father's. With a "here goes" glance at the driver, she took a deep breath and mounted the steps to the porch, glancing at the pots of mums on either side. Reaching the top of the steps, she hesitated, suddenly queasy and weak. For a long moment she swayed in front of the door. Finally she knocked, ever so softly, secretly hoping that no one was home. There was no answer at first, but she could hear the television inside, and so she knocked again, louder this time, and then again, almost banging on the screen door. Eventually, the inner door swung open, and a woman in her 50s peered out from behind the latched screen door. "Hello?" She pronounced the word as if it were a question. "Hi," Susanna said, looking sheepish and beautiful. Martha Bergman's eyes took in the pregnancy, then drifted to the U-Haul, where a wiry young man, the girl's husband, she supposed, gave a little wave. The side of the truck was painted with the image of a señorita, a Spanish lady peering coyly over the top of her fan. U-Haul liked to do that, painting the trucks with scenes that suggested where they were from. Cowboys and lobsters and skyscrapers. Martha figured that this truck must be from New Mexico, or someplace in the Southwest. "Can I help you?" Martha asked. "I hope so," Susanna replied, shifting her weight from one foot to the other. "We're really lost." Martha's face softened. "Where are you looking for?" The girl shook her head and shrugged. "That's the problem. We lost them."